What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well. Hopefully you've watched yesterday's video. If you have, you'll know about the beautiful delivery we had today. Before we continue, I do want to remind you that tomorrow we have high impact news at 8:30. We have jobless claims with the dollar. Should be quite interesting. So if you've been watching my videos this week, you know that I do have a bullish bias, as in I've been wanting to see the week close higher. We've been moving lower since Monday, which is ideal for a classic week. And we're starting to trade into the range, which I've been drawing our attention to. So here's the daily. You can see quite consolidated, just as I was explaining yesterday. I was saying how when there's news on Thursday, Friday, when there's news on Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, Wednesdays tend to be quite consolidated, and we did experience that today. So it's very interesting to see how that played out, and that you can kind of figure out when there's likely going to be high resistance days and low resistance, etc. So that helps us with our trading nonetheless. So let's drop down to the 4 hour, and you'll see we have this fair value gap that I was looking to get filled. Now, we didn't quite fill it on Wednesday, which is completely fine. Don't get me wrong, I do still have my bias with these buy side liquidity up here, here and here. The fact that we have high impact news tomorrow, I would like to think that, you know, the high impact news sends price higher. So that means that if we're moving into the Thursday and London starts to trade lower, that's completely fine with me, because that will allow us to fill this fair value gap, and then that would then set us up for a classic Thursday reversal. So we still haven't had clear displacement to the upside, meaning that we're still bearish. There's no reason for us to necessarily expect higher prices right off the bat. Like, this isn't a clear reversal to me, and the fact that it's not on the 4 hour as well is also hinting to that, which is why moving into tomorrow I am happy to see one more dip lower to run out those Wednesday and those Tuesday stops that we didn't quite reach today. Now, the fact that we didn't take out those Tuesday stops today on Wednesday, again, that's another hint to me that, wow, if we didn't do it today on Wednesday and we didn't expand higher, we're likely going to do that on Thursday. And if we are going to do that on Thursday, I want to see us do it in the early hours. So before 8:30, ideally, I want to see that Tuesday low taken. If it's not taken at that point, I might be a little bit more cautious. But nonetheless, I still want to see this fair value get filled with this hourly level at a very, like, I want this to be a stretch. Like, I don't want price to come down here ideally. But yeah, here's the hourly, and you can see how we traded higher, creating the high in London, classic day, 3 a.m, create the high, traded lower. We had most displacement happening between London and New York, little retracement during New York, and since then consolidating. So you can see what I mean by having consolidated Wednesdays, not a problem at all. There's that Tuesday high, which is a target on the buy side, Monday high, and now this Wednesday high is going to be a target. So if this Wednesday high gets traded through on the Thursday, Friday should be a pretty neat day in terms of looking to where price is likely to draw to. Like I said, we haven't had a clear reversal that I've been wanting to see, so there is still potential for price to want to dip lower. So we need to be wary of that and allow London to give us that. Another thing to take note of is the monthly equilibrium. Look at how we're treating it. We're still finding resistance at that level. And then this massive consolidation right here, all of this back and forth price action, you can see how it's holding up. So price is managing to stay, you know, below it. Let me just draw this out. You can see how price has left it and come back up to it. So there's no reason for price to trade through this until I see these stops get taken. Don't get me wrong, if we trade through this now, say moving into Asia and into London, then I'm happy to be bullish and start thinking about that Tuesday high. But so long as we're below this consolidation, I'm happy for us to continue lower, dig a bit deeper, and then potentially see a reversal at 8:30 to send price higher ideally. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at dollar. We will drop down to the 15 minutes to get a better look at price. Again, clear consolidation, just as we were expecting. A nice break lower, retracement all the way through New York, not the cleanest, very high resistance. And now it's just kind of, you know, tickering around. So obviously we'll let Asia trade, but generally speaking, I am looking at this Wednesday low, and I'll make this red. Ooh. I am looking at this Asia low as sell side liquidity to grab stops before trading on higher, and again running for that buy side target ideally. So that's what I want to see happen. And then obviously we have this massive imbalance up here in the premium. And remember, where's the Sunday opening? Sunday opening price is right here. We're still below Sunday opening as we're moving into Thursday, meaning I think it was this ICC said something anyway about if we're still below that Sunday opening at like Thursday, New York, we're likely going to run for it. So I will double check that, make sure it's right, and try and find the video and try and give it to you guys. Make sure to join the Discord, I'll drop it in there. But the fact that we're still below this Sunday opening is saying to me that we're likely, like I want to see price run for it, because why are we still in such a deep discount if the higher time frames are telling us we're bullish, you know? So that's how I'm watching dollar. Let's now move on to GBP USD, and I think we should give ourselves a round of applause for GBP today. Absolutely nailed this right here, absolutely gorgeous. Let's go to the daily. So GBP traded higher just as we expected, and when did it trade higher? At 2 AM, also just as we expected, right into this daily bearish order block. Beautiful reaction off this. Remember, if you haven't watched yesterday's video, go and watch it now, because I'm not explaining everything. However, this is a consolidation range. It's nice to see us respecting that. What I'm now going to bring our attention to is the midpoint of that range, and the reason for that is because price should continue to respect that. So if we are to retrace back into here, I don't really want to see Wednesday's high get taken out, which is quite interesting, because although we want to see Wednesday's low get taken out on dollar potentially, although we want to see that on dollar, GBP, I'm happy for it not to do so. It can, and that's fine if it does, but ideally, again, I want to see respect of this consolidation, because that can help me identify, you know, it'll suggest to me that we do want to see lower prices, such as this Wednesday low right here. So we're still inside of this weekly implied fair value gap. If we look at the volume of where candles are closing, you'll see we're also below the midpoint. Look at that right there. So moving into the next day, I'd like to think that yes, we can wick up here. That's completely fine. But ideally, volume stays below it, because that continues our bearish bias. So let's go down to the 4 hour now. There is a lot on my screens, guys, so I do apologize. But if you have been following me this week, this shouldn't be too confusing. There's that daily low, daily open, sorry, which we nailed absolutely perfectly. And then we had a nice displacement lower. So now we're just consolidating. Again, moving into London, we'll likely see a nice retracement higher. I'll try and find out. We'll try and identify some PD arrays within this range between this high and this low that we may want to retrace into. Before, I'm looking for that 830 reversal to send price towards these lows and our imbalances below there. So it does look like it does look like we have news tomorrow. Oh my, I didn't see that, guys. We do have the Bank of England interest rate decision. That's fun. So that's happening tomorrow. So again, this is all lining us up for volatility. The fact that we're in such a high premium on pound, this will help it snap back, assuming we are moving lower. So again, this is at 7 AM, so we need to take that into account as we trade into that New York session. So let's drop down to the 1 hour, and you'll see how we traded up, creating that high at 6 AM. This down close candle right here, this is a change in the state of delivery. Now, why is it? Well, we have our three candles to create a turn, and then a clear break. We're closing lower, and I'm watching this low right here as a change. Like, this is where the change happens. So as far as I'm concerned, price shouldn't need to go back above this level. It can wick above there, so be it, but ideally this should be a very sensitive level for price. So as we move into the new day, once we get around this orange level, which I've just marked out, which is this breaker, as we get into this range, I'm going to be watching very carefully to see if we respect it, because ideally we shouldn't need to trade back above it. Ideally we can tap into it, and then price can happily be sent lower. Where to? We got Wednesday low, we've got Tuesday low, and these relative equal lows down here, and that can, again, ideally that will line up with our Bank of England. So let's get that Bank of England interest rate decision marked out right here. We'll make it red, so we know that there's going to be high impact news at this point. So if we're in a premium at that point, what can we expect? We can expect to run on stops, ideally sell stops, considering we've been trading on higher the whole week, and you know, we're expecting some kind of reversal, right? The whole week I've been waiting and waiting for this reversal, so ideally that's what we can witness. Now, don't get me wrong, we do still have this level up here. I said that price may want to reach into that. Ideally we don't get all the way up there, just because I'm looking for weakness now. I want to see hints of weakness, especially the way we broke lower right here. I want to see continued hints of weakness, so I don't really want to see this get traded to. If we do, I'd probably be a lot more weary with being bearish, and if that's the case and we are reaching up all the way up there, up into that, then we may find that dollar is in a much deeper discount than I anticipated. So we do need to be a bit careful as we enter these stages of the week, but generally speaking, I'm looking for that Thursday reversal. So let's go to the 15 minute, And you'll see again, we've got a nice bearish order block in there. So it'll be nice to see if price can tap into that and respect it. If it can respect it, beautiful. If not, you know, be a little bit cautious. But ideally, we do see respect at that point. So that's going to be everything on pound. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, just keep an eye on this high. Because like I said, we may want to sweep that and then trade on lower. And don't get me wrong, it's fine if it does that. It'll just be cleaner if it didn't. But you know how these markets are. Finally, let's finish up on Euro USD. We will go on the daily here as well. So just as we anticipated, we traded higher on Euro as well. Traded up into the consequent encroachment, just above it. Nothing to be too concerned about. Let's go to the 4 hour. And you can see how we're just trading up into this range. Now, look at this. Look at how wicks are treating this midpoint absolutely gorgeously. Can't make this stuff up, guys. And this is on the 4 hour as well. So this is a significant level, clearly, that price is continuing to respect. So what does this mean? Well, ideally, price shouldn't need to get above it. And if you watched yesterday's video, you'll know I said if we're above it and we find support on it. So if we get above it and I start seeing price, you know, use it as support, we're likely going to run for that Tuesday high. So if that happens, that is still relevant basically for price. That thesis, so to speak, is still a relevant theory. But we're below it right now, so long as we're wicking into it and not closing above it, I'm happy for that to be treated as such. So let's go as resistance. So let's continue with the hourly. You'll see traded on higher, ran up into that 50% level, found resistance, and since then we've just been consolidating absolutely fine. Moving into the new day again, I'll allow price to run out that Wednesday high, create a premium. But again, with that high impact news at 8:30 tomorrow, I would like to think that we can see displacement to the downside to create that Thursday reversal we've been waiting on. If Thursday doesn't give us the reversal, so if that 8:30 sends price higher, so if the news happens and we do see a large expansion and it sends price higher, then I'm looking at these relative equal highs up here. Now, what would that look like on dollar? I'll show you that in a bit now. And you will see I am arguing both sides, and that's purely because when it comes to news releases, high impact news like unemployment rates, unemployment like we have tomorrow, they can send price up there, and it's fine if they do. But ideally, I'd like to think they'd run back on all these stops. But let's see. So on dollar, that would for this to happen on dollar, it would mean us moving lower, and at that point, I'll be looking at this fair value gap to get traded to. And obviously this range and these lows down here. Now that seems like a stretch, especially after the past 2 weeks we've had, which is why I'm not too concerned about that. Or I don't think we should be too concerned. If we do go down that, that's wild. Especially, you know, how much back and forth price action we've had. Seeing that would drive me insane. But nonetheless, I hope that all makes sense, guys. Ideally, we're going to get a Thursday reversal and we can start looking at that Wednesday low, Tuesday low, and maybe even that Monday low to get targeting on euro and pound, same on pound. And then it'll be nice to see if dollar can displace higher and continue to respect its discount PD arrays, such as that weekly breaker high, which we're seeing support at. See that? So yeah, very interesting, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash subscribe, smash like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.